Miss Jackie Berg. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this
I'm
morning?
great, thank you.
That Kelly Green is really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And I'm excited about what you're doing right now. But let's talk a little bit about the fact that how long have you been in Detroit, or you've been in Detroit forever?
Most of my adult life, we moved here when I was in sixth grade from Chicago, and we moved to Bloomfield. And it was just a fascinating experience for me as a child because I don't come from privilege. I really moved into privilege. So my father started moving up the corporate ladder, and here this poor
Wow.
little girl moved into Bloomfield Hills and got to see how the rich kids lived. And it really shaped the way that I look at things, gave me an interesting perspective, but also I think a humbleness
Right.
about the way that I see things.
So after college, you went to college?
Yeah, I stayed in the area and I graduated from Oakland University. I used to say that I was one of the 10 students that lived on campus at the time. It's a beautiful campus today, but
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time that I went to school there, it was really more of a commuter environment, but just
Uh-huh.
a wonderful education.
So tell me, you've been in the tell us about your newspaper history.
Sure. Well, I came to the Chronicle. Actually, it was
Yes,
Sam Logan that recruited me to the
right.
Chronicle. And one
That's
of
where I
the,
met you,
you
through
know,
Sam Logan.
one of the things about Sam was that he really saw, talent in people. I think that was his gift, and oftentimes raw talent. So he met me when I was a corporate executive and was charged with urban development with 7-Eleven stores, which for many Detroiters know that at one point 7-Eleven had distanced itself from the city
Right,
and then
right.
wanted to revest. And, I was the executive that was charged with that revestment, if you would. And that's really when I met Sam. And he actually helped to mentor me, in regard to understanding Detroit and helping with business development issues. And eventually said, you know what, I want you, to on my team.
Well, Jackie, didn't you start a like separate section in the Chronicle at one time?
Yeah, I actually, when I first got to the Chronicle, that was one of the things that I first wanted to do. So I saw a gem of an organization, but I also saw a lot of opportunities. So one of them was to, increase the circulation, but also to focus more, I think, on the gifts of the publication and that of the community. So I did two things. I founded MC Times, which was a
Right,
student run
right,
section
right.
of the newspaper. And that was a spark. I mean, I don't even know that I knew how valuable that was going to be, but people really celebrated Detroit youth. And so
Right.
that program helped us to double our circulation and triple our revenue. And at about the same time, we also developed Homefront, which in its infancy, Homefront was really a pure neighborhood program that was really meant to celebrate black club leaders. So actually Homefront is somewhat of the inspiration of what I'm building our products off of today, which is that pure look at just local community heroes that are their stories are really undertold. So I really like telling those stories that are lesser known.
Right, and those, and a lot of times they're so good and so poignant. Now you have another magazine. Is this a newspaper or magazine? I just can't
Yeah.
wait to read
Well,
it.
we call it, and it's a what they call a flip book. So on one side, it's Neighborhood News Hub, and it really focuses in on the rich stories of Detroit's and other city neighborhoods across the state. And then on the other side, it's The Way. And The Way is really focused on family health and particularly children and celebrating great ways that you can get your kids active and maintain, family health.
So in a way, this was part of a concept you had a long time ago.
I think like anything, we all evolve over
Right,
time, and
right.
you can your experiences layer on top of each other. And so to me, this product was a couple things. It's an evolution of me as a professional, but I think it's also an evolution of us as a community because I don't do this alone. I have 15 minority partners that help to distribute and support this product. And I'm really proud of that. They're multicultural. It's African American, Hispanic, Arab American, Asian American. So we've got Caladian partners.
Right.
So we've got partnerships, from publishers throughout the state, and they have agreed to speak from one voice as it relates to health issues, and then also to distribute their product. And that's really important to me because I think when you become involved in minority publications, and it started with Sam, but it continues on from that.
Right.
Catherine Kelly, I thought really didn't get the credit, that was deserved for what she did in America, following her father's death with the Michigan Citizen.
Right.
I
Right.
think minority publications are really important, and they should remain in the community, and that we need to continue the voice. And so this is part of my way of doing that and collaborating and using some of my talent, I think, as a salesperson, to show, how you continue to perpetuate those vehicles and to drive new revenue.
Well, Jackie, this is so. I mean, pardon me for reading, but it is just so wonderful. So much information too, and that's good for the community and good for parents and good for adults growing
Right.
us growing adults. And where can we get this magazine?
Well, there's a couple ways that you can get it. You can, of course, go online. Our website is theway.com, and we post the full
The
edition.
Way is WEIGH.
Thank you.
Uh huh.
So you can go online to theway.com, and also, through many minority publications statewide, distribute the magazine monthly in their newspapers. But in addition
Oh,
to
they
that,
they go into some
they
newspapers.
go into all our minority newspaper
Oh my
partners.
goodness, wonderful.
So that's a wonderful distribution base. And then in addition to that, we also have street distribution, which you're going to be seeing more of. We're layering our street distribution and beginning in Detroit and then ramping up throughout the state. Our circulation is 90,000. So
Really?
that surprises, some people.
Really, that's
But,
fabulous.
well, I think you have to have that, in order to celebrate that voice, it's got to be able to
Oh,
be found.
there's Aubrey.
And-
Aubrey.
Aubrey Perry.
Yes, I see Aubrey in here.
Right.
Pam's daughter.
Correct.
And
And you never go far from the family. I mean, that's something that Sam had taught me, actually. It's interesting over the years how all these relationships seem to come back, and there's a real celebration, I think, of some
well,
of the
and
talent we
Detroit
have.
is a small world.
It is. It's
a
small
small town in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Hubert Massey here on the bike.
Right. And, Hubert had an interesting story because normally most people recognize him as the celebrated mural artist
Right.
that he is. But he also, we called the story the workout artist because he talked about the importance of staying fit in his craft because he can't do what he does, without having incredible physical stamina. And so it was an interesting way to tell his story, that was really unique that, most of us wouldn't know.
No,
without,
no.
coming in and
Usually
covering
people
that.
associate people with one thing
Right.
and don't realize the
Right.
other things.
And he gets up at 5:30 every day and gets it done. I was inspired. I'm not up at 5:30 yet.
I am. I say, why am I up at 5:30? I don't have a clock to punch,
Yes.
but I'm up at 5:30 all the time. So, this is just. I am so proud of you because you've stuck with this through these years. It's like 25, almost a little more than
About
that.
20 years in media.
Oh, 20 years. I thought it was over 20 years.
Yeah, it's been over since I've known Sam. I think a part of that was a recruitment
Right,
process.
right. True,
If
true.
you will, where I was involved in the newspaper and helping to support not only the Michigan Chronicle, but other minority publications as
Right,
well.
right. I appreciate that. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I see this as my last, career, if you will, and a part of this is as much as a professional interest as it is a personal one. So, I really wanted to make a mark. And I thought the way that I could do that was to support multicultural communications. But in addition to that, we've got a tremendous problem, particularly within the African American and the Hispanic community as it relates to obesity, but all of us.
Yes.
And so I really wanted to, make a difference in regard to reducing obesity rates. And so that's why you see the way addressing in many ways.
WEIGH.
Right, in many ways, increasing physical activity, but in a very fun and entertaining way.
Well, I thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, look for the hub. It's inside the Chronicle.
It's not inside the
Oh,
Chronicle,
it's,
but it is inside many minority newspapers statewide. So on the
oh,
African
okay.
American side, it's CPSA Courier, it's Grand Rapids Times, it's the Jackson Blazer, it's
Okay,
the
and
Lansing Chronicle.
we could go online if we
You
want
can go
this.
online as well.
Oh, right. And so some will be in the neighborhoods though
Right.
eventually.
We distribute through eBlast with the Rise Detroit.
Oh yes, Luther.
Right, Luther, right.
He
And
was just here a couple of weeks ago. Oh, I'm almost turning into a pumpkin. Jackie, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. I got to get your card too. And ladies and gentlemen, Table Talk is back. We will be back with Table Talk in just a moment. So stay tuned because we have some great topics to talk to you about, and also about a friend of mine who has a new book getting ready to come out. I'll talk to you in a minute. Thank you again, Jackie. Thank
Thank
you
you.
to all my guests.